Alright, so we have a Pro Slot bag motor. The shaft is badly acid etched. You see how dark it is. There's a few pieces of solder that apparently were left over from last time someone mounted a pinion. But you can see if you tried soldering a pinion on now, you'd only have a few tiny little contacts that would actually solder and hold it. It would definitely spin if you mount it to this shaft as it is. So the very first thing you do is you connect it to your power supply. You can hear Pro Slot's excellent balancing technique. But anyways, you take a razor blade and hold it on an angle and remove solder. This will help to get the shaft clean, but it will not be 100% clean after this. You want to solder to a 100% clean surface. So I'll stop it now. You can see the shaft is cleaner, but there's still black marks. In this situation, the solder would only stick to this light colored portion here. It would not stick to this acid etched portion of the steel. So even if you were able to get a pinion to stick, you're only going to get, 30% of the pinion to have solder attached to the shaft. So from here on out, I would clean the shaft with 2000 grit sandpaper. So again, run the motor slow. Just quickly, you don't want to take off too much material because sandpaper will remove steel from the shaft, but you can see it's getting better yet. See, now it's clean. That's a 100% clean surface. The next step would be to oil your bushing because you don't want acid or solder to creep into the bushing. I would angle the motor downward next after that. Spin it at 1.5 volts. Apply acid to the shaft. Remember, have the shaft facing downward so the acid doesn't creep into the bushing. With your extremely hot iron, take some 60-40 solder and apply it to the motor shaft. Now, you know you have 100% coverage because the shaft was spinning when I soldered it. So now that the shaft of the motor is tinned properly. Let's move on to the pinion. In this situation, I picked a particularly horrible pinion because why not? You take your particularly horrible pinion that has leftover solder that's disgusting, that I definitely would not want to use in mounting to the motor. You can see there's solder in the teeth even, rust, everything. In the video I'll show you how to clean it all up. But you take your slightly undersized drill bit and by hand you begin the reaming out process. After you're done reaming, I roll the pinion to make sure that the walls of the hole are clean as well, because there's bound to be rust in there. But when you're done, the inside really is clean. The next thing I do is I put the pinion on the shaft, stick it on there, right? Put a little acid inside the pinion. Note that it's still connected to the power supply. and you have a properly mounted pinion. Now, you saw me spin the motor, solder went flying. The solder in the teeth also went flying. Still a little dirty. I'm going to hit it with the wire wheel and come right back.